Israel did a prisoner swap, and we didn't get a chance to talk about it yesterday, and there's more fallout from it today, and I wanted to touch upon it because I have some thoughts on it. One is a consistency issue, and the other is a substantive issue. So let me tell you what happened. Eldad Regev and Ehud Goldwasser were two soldiers kidnapped by Hezbollah, and that is part of what precipitated the 2006 war between Israel and Lebanon. And they never got them back at the end of the war. Israel didn't. And so when the war stopped, for a lot of different reasons, Israel was seen to have not lost is way too strong a word, but done some damage to their cause, right? And Hezbollah seemed to have been strengthened because they withstood the Israeli attack. And there was actually a very good article, I believe I read from Fried, and I always say it wrong, but I'm going to go with Zachariah again, where he said Hezbollah's position got so much stronger within Lebanon, partly because all the people who were sitting on the fence for so long, some of them up to 20 years, non-committal about Hezbollah, who were Shiite in Lebanon, thought after the war, hey, you know what? We need them. Because if Israel comes in here and attacks like they did, who are the only people who are going to attack, who are going to support us and defend us? It's Hezbollah. So all of a sudden, a lot of people who were on the fence in Lebanon went straight into Hezbollah's camp. One of the many reasons why that war was a bad idea, and one of the reasons it was a failure, is because they never got the soldiers back. They were concerned that they were not alive, but they weren't positive. And so they orchestrated a prisoner swap, and the Lebanese got 5 Lebanese prisoners back, including Samir Kuntar, who in 1979 killed a father in front of his kids, killed a 4-year-old. They claim with the Israelis claim with the butt of his rifle. The Lebanese have a different story on it and said the kid died in the crossfire. Either way, it was a siege where 2 of the kids died and the dad died, and the Israelis had captured him, and they had him in jail from the age of 16 when he did that to now when he's 45. And he was part of the prisoner swap, so it was kind of a big deal that they were letting this guy who had killed some Israelis, including in a gruesome way and in a way that a lot of people in Israel remembered, that they were letting him go as part of this prisoner swap. Plus, they gave 190 bodies over to the Lebanese that were already of soldiers and fighters who had died, right? And in return, they got these 2 soldiers, but it turned out the 2 soldiers had died, and they got their bodies instead. So a lot of people are saying, that's kind of a raw deal. You get 2 dead bodies, and in return, you've released 5 live prisoners, including one who's kind of renowned for better or for worse, infamous in Israel. And I agree. I think it is a raw deal. I don't think they should have done it. And it's interesting because I believe this is actually negotiating with terrorists. Now, some people will say, hey, wait a minute. Yeah, the United States government technically calls Hezbollah terrorists, but you got to keep it real. They actually do provide real services to the Shiites in Lebanon, which is about 40% of the population. It's an overgeneralization just to call Hezbollah terrorists. But certainly the State Department does, and Israel does. And so what Israel did was clearly, by their own definitions, negotiating with terrorists. Now, I thought Bush said that they don't do that, and the Israeli right wing said that that's not right, and I thought, AIPAC here, the lobby said we can't ever do that. But there it is. They just did it. Negotiating with hostage takers. That's always a bad idea. And by negotiating, I don't even mean negotiating. I mean giving in to hostage takers. Saying, okay, you've taken a hostage, so I'm going to give you something in return. You're going to encourage it, and now, instantly, they have another hostage. Hezbollah doesn't, Hamas does. This is a different group. They're in the Gaza Strip, and Palestinians, but they have Gilad Shalit. And they said, yeah, well, no. Hezbollah got a good price, so I think we're going to increase our price. They're not even hiding it. They're saying, yeah, if you're going to do that, yeah, let's horse trade, right? And Gilad Shalit is alive. I would have focused on him before I focused on the guys that you thought might have passed away already. It's bad idea genes, man. You're going to get a lot more hostages taken from Israel. And I'm not just speculating. Like I said, Hezbollah said, we're going to increase our efforts to take more hostages because it works. especially because Israel does uneven trades there. Partly because it's so easy for Israel to arrest people and to have them in their prisons, and they have so many more of them that they can give away more to get a couple in return. But this whole idea of swapping prisoners like this, if you didn't get what I was saying, I discourage it. I don't look favorably upon it. Final thought on that is this consistency issue. I mean, get a load of, right-wingers in general. I know this is Israel, but, Bush goes to Israel and says, oh, appeasers, the Democrats, like Senator Obama, by implication, is an appeaser. And how dare he negotiate with other people? And then what do? The Israelis go, and they're negotiating with the Syrians right now as we speak. And all of Syria is not terrorists. And I think it's a great idea to have a conversation with Syria about what your interests are and what their interests are and come to some sort of conclusion on that, or try to at least. I think it's an okay idea to talk to Hezbollah and Hamas, but not to give away to something to hostage takers. But if anything is appeasement, this is it. But they go ahead and criticize Democrats. Is Bush criticizing this swap? He should have been all over this. Should have been like, oh no, Ehud Olmert, the Prime Minister of Israel, is an appeaser. I come again? Oh, I didn't hear you on that. Huh, that's interesting. It's interesting how you haven't mentioned that.